What if the water you drink every morning is hydrating you and doing almost nothing else? Today I'm walking you through 5 drinks that researchers have studied for what they may do beyond hydration, supporting the lining of your blood vessels, helping blood flow more freely, and giving your cardiovascular system raw materials it needs more of after 60. And I'm going to be honest with you from the very first sentence. Stop relying on plain water alone. I know that sounds strange. You've been told for decades to drink more water, so telling you that's not enough might feel like a betrayal. But here's what most of us were never told. After 60, plain water keeps you alive. On its own, it doesn't give your blood vessels everything they now need to stay soft, flexible, and responsive. There's a quiet reason for that. As we age, our bodies produce certain vessel signaling molecules less efficiently. Without enough of those molecules, even well-hydrated blood can struggle to move the way it should. Researchers studying hydration and aging have found something worth paying attention to. Adults whose hydration sat in an optimal range showed slower markers of biological aging across several organ systems, including the cardiovascular system, compared to adults who were chronically underhydrated. And what you hydrate with seems to matter, not just how much. Before we get into the list, and yes, we're counting down from 5 to 1, with 1 being the drink most strongly linked to measurable cardiovascular benefits in the research, I want to tease number 1 right now. It's something you've probably walked past in the produce aisle without a second look. Researchers have connected it to measurable drops in blood pressure in older adults in as little as 2 weeks. We'll get there, I promise. But first, quick question for you. How old are you right now? And what's the one health frustration you're dealing with most at this stage of life? Energy, circulation, your knees, your memory, your sleep? Tell me in the comments. I read them, and they genuinely shape what I cover next. If you're finding this helpful, take a second to like this video and subscribe. We share practical, science-based strategies to help you stay healthy, independent, and mentally sharp as you age. All right, countdown, 5 to 1. Every study mentioned is linked in the description. Let's begin. Number 5, coconut water. This one surprises almost everyone I share it with. Coconut water. Isn't that just a trendy drink for 20-somethings on the beach? Fair question. But here's what the research shows in older adults specifically. A 2024 trial followed hypertensive older adults who drank young coconut water daily. Within a week, both their systolic and diastolic blood pressure had measurably improved. Researchers pointed to coconut water's high potassium content as the likely driver. Here's why that matters to you. Think of sodium and potassium as 2 riders on a seesaw. To keep blood pressure balanced, when one goes up, the other needs to come down. After 60, that seesaw gets sticky. Your kidneys become less efficient at clearing excess sodium and holding on to potassium. It still works. It just doesn't move as easily. Coconut water is one of the richest natural sources of potassium there is, more per cup than a banana, in a form an aging digestive system can actually absorb and use. There's a second mechanism at play too. Coconut water contains plant compounds called cytokinins, the same signaling molecules plants use to regulate their own aging. Early research suggests they may help reduce oxidative stress inside blood vessel walls. Picture oxidative stress as rust slowly forming on the inside of a pipe. Your body's natural antioxidant defenses decline with age, so any outside support for the vessel wall becomes more valuable, not less. How to use it. 8 ounces of raw, unsweetened coconut water in the morning, ideally before breakfast. Skip the flavored versions. They're usually loaded with added sugar, which cancels out the benefit. Synergy tip, pair it with a small handful of pumpkin seeds. They're rich in magnesium and potassium work together to support the rhythmic contraction of your heart muscle. Yes, your heart is a muscle, and after 60, it appreciates every ally it can get. Coconut water is impressive, but what's coming at number 4 might change how you look at your evening routine. Number 4, tart cherry water. This one feels almost custom built for the aging body. Montmorency tart cherries contain some of the highest concentrations of naturally occurring melatonin found in any whole food, not synthetic, food-derived melatonin, packaged alongside anthocyanins, the deep red plant pigments that act like a fire extinguisher for inflammation throughout the body. A 2019 randomized controlled trial, one of the longest tart cherry studies of its kind, followed older adults drinking tart cherry juice daily for 12 weeks. Two things happened. Their systolic blood pressure dropped by several points, and their C-reactive protein, a key blood marker of inflammation, fell by roughly a quarter. Here's why those two numbers are connected. When the inside walls of your blood vessels are inflamed, they stiffen and narrow slightly. Blood has to push harder to get through, which is exactly what raises blood pressure and strains the heart over time. Calm the inflammation and the walls soften. Blood moves more easily. Pressure eases. There's a third piece worth mentioning: sleep. In that same study, tart cherry's natural melatonin supported deeper, longer sleep. And deep sleep is itself a vascular event. Your blood pressure naturally dips during it, giving your vessels their nightly reset. After 60, the body's ability to regulate inflammatory pathways weakens. The immune cells responsible for cleanup become less efficient with age, creating a slow, low-grade burn researchers sometimes call inflammaging. Tart cherry water speaks directly to that mechanism. How to use it: 2 tablespoons of unsweetened tart cherry concentrate stirred into 8 ounces of water, roughly an hour before bed. Synergy tip: add a small pinch of black pepper. It contains piperine, which research suggests can meaningfully boost the absorption of anthocyanins. A tiny addition that makes the whole drink more effective. If you think that's impressive, wait until you hear what's sitting at number 3. Before we get there, if you're finding real value in this, take a second to hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. It genuinely helps this information reach other people who need it. Now let's keep moving. Number 3, green tea made the right way. I need to be precise here, because how you prepare this one changes what it can actually do for you. This isn't the green tea served lukewarm in a floral cup at your grandmother's table. Temperature and steep time change the chemistry. Green tea contains a compound called EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. It sounds invented. It isn't, and it's one of the most studied vascular compounds out there. Here's the mechanism in plain terms. The inner wall of every blood vessel is lined with endothelial cells, and those cells have receptor sites. Think of them as tiny locks. EGCG fits those locks. When it does, it signals the vessel wall to produce more nitric oxide, the molecule that tells blood vessels to relax and widen. A 2007 study published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition found that patients with coronary artery disease who took EGCG showed a measurable, short-term improvement in how well their blood vessels dilated within 2 hours. Nitric oxide isn't just about your heart, it matters for your brain too. Reduced nitric oxide production is one of the mechanisms researchers believe contributes to age-related cognitive decline. When vessels don't dilate efficiently, less oxygen reaches the tissue that needs it. Here's why this matters after 60 specifically. Aging blood vessels lose elasticity, a little like a garden hose left in the sun too long. EGCG appears to slow that stiffening by pushing back against the buildup of advanced glycation end products, compounds that form inside artery walls and make them more rigid. How to use it: brew at 175 degrees Fahrenheit, not boiling. Boiling water destroys a significant portion of the EGCG. Steep for exactly 3 minutes. Many people find late morning, around 10 or 11 a.m., a good window. Synergy tip: squeeze in fresh lemon juice. The vitamin C helps stabilize EGCG in your digestive tract, and research suggests it can meaningfully increase how much of it your body actually absorbs. Half a lemon does the job. We're entering the top 2. Stay with me. What's coming is something most people have genuinely never heard, and the science behind it holds up. If you found this video helpful, subscribe for more science-backed health tips designed specifically for adults over 60. Number 2, hibiscus water. Yes, that deep crimson flower you may have seen dried in bulk bins or in Caribbean tea blends labeled Jamaica. What the research shows about hibiscus and blood pressure in older adults is the kind of finding that, frankly, deserves to be far better known. A clinical trial from the USDA's Agricultural Research Service found that adults who drank hibiscus tea daily saw a meaningfully greater drop in systolic blood pressure over 6 weeks compared to a control group. A separate 2019 randomized trial in patients with stage 1 hypertension found a significant reduction in systolic blood pressure in the hibiscus group. A 2013 review pulling together both animal and human studies concluded that hibiscus reliably lowers elevated blood pressure and improves lipid profiles in adults with mild to moderate hypertension. How does it work? Hibiscus contains anthocyanins and an organic acid that appear to act, functionally, a bit like a class of prescription blood pressure medication called ACE inhibitors. drugs that work by blocking an enzyme that constricts blood vessels. Hibiscus seems to influence a similar pathway naturally. There's also evidence hibiscus can help lower LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, in older adults over a 12-week period. Less LDL in the vessel wall means less plaque. Less plaque means wider, more flexible vessels. How to use it? 2 to 3 tablespoons of dried hibiscus flowers, often labeled Jamaica in Latin grocery stores, steeped in 8 ounces of hot water for 5 to 7 minutes. Let it cool. Drink once in the morning, once in the early afternoon. Skip the sugar. A small amount of raw honey is fine if you want sweetness. Synergy tip: pair it with a small piece of dark chocolate, 85% cacao or higher. The flavonols in dark chocolate and the anthocyanins in hibiscus appear to work through complementary pathways that support nitric oxide production. One important note: if you're already on blood pressure medication, talk to your doctor before adding hibiscus regularly. It's genuinely potent, and combining it with medication without medical guidance can push your blood pressure lower than you want. That's not a throwaway disclaimer, it's real guidance, because this one actually works. Now, the drink I promised you at the very start. The one researchers have connected to measurable drops in blood pressure in older adults in as little as 2 weeks. Number 1, beetroot water. Fresh beetroot or a high-quality beetroot powder dissolved in water. Of everything on this list, this is the one with the deepest body of research behind it, and most people walk right past it in the produce aisle. Here's the science, because I want you to actually understand what's happening in your body when you drink it. Beetroot is the richest dietary source of nitrates in any commonly available food. When you consume those nitrates, bacteria on your tongue convert them into nitrite. Your blood then converts that nitrite into nitric oxide, arguably the single most important molecule for vascular health in the human body. Think of nitric oxide as the lubricant that keeps your arteries moving freely. When your body has enough of it, blood vessels relax, widen, and stay flexible. Blood flows more easily. Oxygen reaches your muscles and brain more efficiently. Your heart pumps with less effort. A 2013 study in the American Journal of Physiology found that short-term dietary nitrate supplementation improved blood pressure, oxygen uptake, and both muscle and cognitive function in older adults. A 2025 study in the same journal found that 12 weeks of nitrate-rich beetroot extract improved carotid artery stiffness and increased nitric oxide availability in older adults. A separate study found nitrate-rich beetroot juice lowered blood pressure in both peripheral and central arteries. The direction of the evidence is consistent. Beetroot helps. Here's what makes this especially relevant after 60. Nitric oxide production does decline with age. How much depends on the individual, their activity level, and their diet. It's not accurate to say it drops by an exact fixed percentage for everyone. The honest version is this: nitric oxide availability declines meaningfully with age, and that decline contributes to the rise in blood pressure, the drop in stamina, and some of the cognitive slowing too many of us assume is just inevitable. Beetroot water doesn't just add something extra, it helps replace something your body is naturally producing less of. How to use it? 2 options. Juice 2 medium raw beets and dilute with 8 ounces of water. Or, more practical for most people, stir 1 to 2 teaspoons of a high-quality beetroot powder without added sugar or artificial flavoring into 8 ounces of water. Timing matters. Try drinking it about 90 minutes before your most physically active stretch of the day, a morning walk, gardening, physical therapy, time with the grandkids. That window gives your body time to complete the full nitrate to nitrite to nitric oxide conversion, so the nitric oxide is circulating while you're moving, not hours after you've stopped. Synergy tip: pair it with a vitamin C-rich food, orange juice, kiwi, bell pepper, strawberries. Vitamin C helps stabilize nitric oxide, so it lasts longer in your bloodstream before breaking down. One practical heads up: beetroot can turn your urine, and sometimes your stool, a reddish color. It's completely harmless, it's just pigment, not blood. If you're not expecting it, it can be alarming, so now you know in advance. You're fine. Let me bring this all together, because I don't want you walking away with just a list. I want you walking away with something bigger. After 60, what you put into your body carries more weight than it used to. Not because it's too late, it's never too late, but because your body is asking for a bit more support than it once needed. Your blood vessels have been working for 6, 7, 8 decades. They've carried stress, processed decades of meals, absorbed the wear of time, and they're still working, still pumping, still showing up for you every single day. Coconut water, tart cherry, green tea, hibiscus, beetroot. None of these are miracle cures, and none of them replace medical care or prescribed medication. Always loop your doctor in, especially if you're managing blood pressure already. But the research behind them is real, and they're worth considering as allies your aging vascular system can actually use. If this gave you something valuable, subscribe. New research-backed guidance every week, built specifically for this stage of life. And share it with someone over 60 who'd benefit: a sibling, a spouse, a friend, a neighbor. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 are you going to try first? Drop it in the comments. And if you're already using one, tell me what's changed for you. I read every comment, and I'll see you in the next one.